Hello, my name is Jenna Ori.
I'm Kirk Gang.
My name is Judy Olson.
My name is John Norquist.
So, right off the bat, when I was like 4, my real mom, my biological mom, and my dad got divorced. So my mom was an alcoholic, so with me being with her all the time, I was a parent. And my dad, he had big anger issues. I would go to church and they would tell me these things, but then I would go and look right back over to the person that was telling me these things or judging someone else, and it was very contradictory. And
I grew up in Philadelphia, Christian family, went to a Christian school. My dad was an elder, worship leader for the church and everything else. My parents were very, 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 very good about getting us involved in the church, getting us serving in the church and that sort of thing. And it definitely had a huge impact on my life growing up.
I grew up in a really dysfunctional home, especially with alcoholism. My mother grew up in an alcoholic home, and that was kind of her go-to when things got tough. When I was 2.5, my father died. Suddenly, this was during World War II. My mother was pregnant with my brother, and it was a very scary time for her. I had a grandmother who prayed for me. She was the one person in my life who was a Christian.
I was in a movie theater I was invited by my English teacher in junior high, and it was a Christian movie. So at the end of the movie, they asked anybody who wanted to be saved, and I felt compelled to do it, but it was kind of like on a dare, what junior high kids would do.
I had trouble seeing God in my life, just with all the events and everything. It was very hard for me, and I didn't have many people. I didn't have friends, and I didn't really know how to deal with it, so I just got angry. I was a very, very angry person about everything.
When I was in middle school, as any middle school boy probably, or a lot of middle school boys probably get exposed to, I was exposed to pornography for the first time in my life. And that was a moment for me that I clearly made a break with my Christian walk and what I knew to be where I should be going, and I made a clear break onto the path of addiction to pornography and everything that entails.
And so by the time I was 12, 13, she was drinking very, very heavily, and our home was chaos. But about that time, I started going to a little church just a few blocks away. The sense of hope started when I saw other families and saw that they didn't fight all the time, they didn't use bad language, there wasn't a lot of tension, and I really wanted something like that for myself, but I didn't know that it would be possible.
So finally one day I got fed up with my life, and there were some other guys in the music department who were guitar players at the time that had been saved. So they said, "Come on, Kirk, let's go in the men's bathroom here and we'll pray over you and we'll tell you what to say." And so I did, and I accepted the Lord that day for real.
So I looked in the mirror and I was like, just one day, is this really what I want? Not just physically, but inside. And the answer, again, black and white, is no, this is not what I want. And I was like, okay, well, I have to do something about it.
I started looking at pornography and started living that lifestyle. In 1992, and it plagued my life for about 15 years. And it made me live 2 separate lives for 15 years. And then finally in 2008, May 16, 2008 to be exact, I finally had enough with it.
So there was a time of backsliding and alcoholism and until I finally admitted to all the things and came clean with my life. That's when I felt the redemption and the peace finally.
So during that time, I heard about Christ. I heard for the first time that God had a plan for my life, and that His word promised a hope and a future. And that was news to me. It was good news, and I clung to it. And so at the age of 16, I gave my heart to Jesus, and I jumped in with both feet.
And I had no clue how my wife was going to interpret, basically telling her that everything she knows about me, a strong Christian guy, a great husband, a great father, that's what I look like to the world, but when you're not around, this is what I'm really doing. But that was the first time that I really understood, that I believe that I really understood the grace that is given to us through Jesus Christ and through what He did on the cross.
The biggest changes that I saw and felt, honestly, and people saw around me, they were like, "Wow, Jenna," is just my own personal contentment and happiness with life. Like I didn't wake up in the morning and be like, "Oh gosh, I just don't even want to." Like I woke up in the morning and I was like, "Let's go."
He has shown Himself faithful in my life, my whole life, gave me a wonderful husband and family, and has brought me through some really hard things, and has brought much joy.
And James 1 came into my mind, 1 and 2 of dear brothers, consider it pure joy when you fall into many trials. And I was just thinking about that and literally started getting giddy about what, I'm finally free with this.
What has given me real peace is to know that He has accepted me in all of my brokenness.
And I don't think I could have done it by myself. Once I got there, I was like, I never want to go back.
And it's so freeing to know that sin is offered up at the cross, and that sin is taken care of by the grace of God.
There is no place that is too dark for God to walk through it with you. And Jesus was our strength, is our strength, and our faithful God.